What's good? What's good? I want to tell this story of this time that I made this Walmart employee laugh really, really loudly. But first, I want to talk a little bit about retail, and I do Spark delivery, and so that was sort of the impetus for the whole experience. I do delivery work. I do all kinds of work. I dog sit. I do day labor, construction work. I do delivery work. I'm debating going back to retail for a little while, just to make some more money. But when I do delivery work, I've been for the last year doing a lot of Walmart Spark. It's just the best for me personally. Delivering food, I'm just tired of delivering food. I hate it. It's stressful. I hate having someone else's hot food in my car because I don't want the 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes it takes to get to their place for the food to get cold and then for them to think it's my fault when it's their fault for ordering food from 20 minutes away. And just don't do DoorDash, y'all. Don't be lazy. But anyway, I shouldn't say that. Live your life. But so Walmart Spark I've liked because it pays a little bit more, and I can just chill. It's just so much more chill. I don't hustle. I don't run around like you see some Spark drivers. And let me tell this little story. Well, there was a point where I was in a Walmart store and I went down an aisle and there were 4 people in the aisle. 2 of them were Spark drivers, and you can tell by the way they look at their phone, they grab items and scan items. You can tell by the way people hold their phones if they're a Spark driver or not. And then so there were 2 Spark drivers in the aisle and 2 Walmart employees pulling Spark orders. And so with Spark, sometimes the drivers will pull the orders and sometimes the employees will. It depends. But everyone in the aisle was doing Spark. And I felt like an ant or a bug of some kind in some sort of formation, just going through the motions, doing my little bug activities to keep the greater hive or nest or whatever it's called alive. And it was dehumanizing a little bit. I guess that itself couldn't be dehumanizing. I had to make myself feel that way. But that was sort of what went through my mind in a bit was man, we're all just these fucking worker bees for the ruling class and the overlords. And I hate that feeling. And I hate seeing so many other people locked into it. And so that's one reason that I don't rush. I'm not one of, I used to rush. I need to make every dollar, every minute counts. And yes, every minute does count, but I'm not going to rush. I'm not going to run people over. I can't handle that stress anymore. If I make less money, so what? I make less money, but I also have less stress. But one way I try to mitigate the dehumanizing nature of this repetitive, servile sort of work is I like to interact with the people that work there. I like to just interact with people, even customers sometimes. I cannot tell you how many times I have had elderly women of all races ask me, tap me on a shoulder or look at me and ask me. And often when I'm in the store, I just have my that face on. So it's not exactly, I'm not smiling when I'm in public by myself in the zone. It's just a very stoic look. And elderly women, grandmas, give 0 fucks. They are some of the boldest broads out there. They have seen so much. They've been through much. They are not afraid of guys like me. They see through me. And I love that they see through me, to be honest. I do. And so I'm always asked by elderly women to grab things off the shelf or to lift things in their cart. I don't mind. I love it. I truly love it. But so customers I interact with, and then store employees I'll try to build a relationship with. And in a sense, I am another employee. I'm not technically employed by Walmart, but I'm serving the same corporate overlords that they're serving. I just get to smoke weed and listen to music while I do most of my work, which is one of the biggest reasons I like it. Man, just to smoke some weed, go shop for other people's groceries, listen to music, not in a rush, not stressed. That's not bad. Not great, don't get me wrong, but it's not bad. And so there's one particular employee that the story is centered around. I don't think this is real name, so I don't mind saying it. But the name on his badge says Bear. Bear. And let me tell you, it fits. That name fits. This dude is slightly less tall than me. I'm like 5'11", so we'll say he's 5'9", but he probably weighs 350 pounds. Big, jolly guy with a big beard and long hair. So the name Bear really fits. And at this particular location, it's where I do a lot of my shopping. I've seen him for months, and we've just gotten into the habit of having a little banter every now and then, a little back and forth, talking about this and that. He told me about mead that he makes, and during a particularly just bummer day where everybody just seemed off, everybody seemed sort of just not negative, but like their energy was just muted or lowered. It was probably like a new moon or something like that. I had seen him and we had talked or whatever. And then on my third or fourth trip, he was talking to another Spark driver ahead of me in line. And he had commented like how he hurt his arm and his shoulder and it hurts to like breathe. And I had overheard that. So when it was my turn to check out, I look at him, I'm like, dude, it hurts to just exist. And he chuckled a little bit. That wasn't the joke that made him belly laugh. He chuckled a little bit, and then he started talking about how he's like, this is what he said. He's like, I don't want to go to a dark place here, and I don't want to, say like talk about suicide, but sometimes it would be really nice to just not exist for a little while, to be able to choose to not exist for a little while, but then be able to choose to come back. And he said all of this, and as he's saying it, this little grin, this little Cheshire cat grin, kind of like this one, started creeping up on me because I just knew I had the perfect rebuttal. And comedy is all about timing. I'm not a comedian, but that's just known. Like most people who know anything about comedy, it's about timing. So I'm grinning and I'm waiting for him to just kind of get to the right point where I can interject. And so and also though, part of hearing people and like part of seeing and hearing people is to just let them talk. Don't interrupt them. Let them talk. And so that was also what I was doing. Just letting him talk. I was just seeing him and hearing him. And when it was my turn to insert my little quip, I kind of lean in because this is a sensitive subject matter. I'm like, it's called ketamine, bro. And he laughed so loud that like everyone in the check stand areas like looked around and it wasn't one of those awkward like sometimes when some people have an energy and they bring it into a space, it's just obnoxious. Whereas other times when someone can bring almost a similar energy into the space, it's not obnoxious, but it's actually like it's joyful and it's pleasant. And it's positive. And so there's the difference. And this was a very deep, joyful belly laugh. And it was one of those laughs where the people around had no idea what he was laughing about, but it created this space where they were elevated. They themselves were like, taken by the sheer light that was brought into the moment. It truly felt like that interaction he and I had illuminated the entire like little check stand area. It was one of those, it's like a square of self-checkouts with one person monitoring, right? And everyone there, their mood was uplifted by that interaction he and I had. Because in my experience, like last year I did an at-home ketamine treatment where they give you instructions and certain doses and it's all legal and whatnot. It was, I loved it. It really felt like I was floating outside of my body for about a half an hour to an hour, but getting to be able to disconnect from my body temporarily was a great feeling. And you know, there are other psychological elements too, but I enjoyed the disconnection from my body. I would do it again. I don't think I particularly have a need right now. I always say these medicines are like tools in a tool belt, different tools for different jobs. That was the tool I needed at that point. And for the last year, I haven't needed other tools besides pot. But like pot's not a tool. Pot's a way of life, in my opinion. Judge me if you want. I'll end the video there. Thank you very much for listening. Much love, y'all.